Good morning, you two. It's Fabulous Friday and another day of getting that brain going, thinking about calculations and solving word problems. Let's have a look at the in-focus task. There were 46 male adults and 49 female adults in a hall. There were 29 fewer children than adults. How many children were there in the hall? Pause the video and discuss with your adult, how are you going to solve this problem? What do you need to do first? And then what do you need to do after? Hopefully you would have discovered that the first step in solving this problem is working out how many adults there are altogether. Now we can see from the information we're given there were 46 male adults and there are 49 female adults. So the calculation you need to solve here is 46 add 49. Now most of you probably used column addition to solve this problem. I will model that over here. 46 add 49. Starting with the ones column. 6 add 9. Well, I know 9 add 1 more is 10. So we take the 1 off the 6 to leave us with 5. So 10 add 5 is 15. Put the 5 and we're going to carry the 10 across. Then we can look at the tens column. 40 add 40 is 80 plus another 10 is 90. So we know there are 95 adults in the hall. Okay, it doesn't matter if they're male or female now. We just need to know there are 95 adults altogether. We can then look at how many children there are, because we know there are 95 adults altogether. I'm going to annotate the bar model. That's how many adults there are. And we know from the information there are 29 fewer children than adults. Okay, so there's our 29, because that part of the bar represents the 29 children that are fewer. So we need to work out how many children there are. Okay, 29 fewer children than adults. So we take the amount of adults there are, which is 95, and we subtract 29 because we know there are 29 fewer children than adults to give us the answer 66. Hopefully that's what you discovered as well. There were 66 children in the hall. And the way I did 95 take away 29, again, I did column subtraction. So I had 95, take away 29, and I had to regroup. 5 take away 9 I can't do, so I'm going to borrow a 10. So the 90 turns into 80, and the 10 transfers across to make 15 take away 9. Now the difference between 9 and 15 is 6. So we put the 6 there, and then we can do 80 take away 20, which is 60. Put our 6 there, and of course our 0 would go here. So we know there are 66 children in the hall. Let's have a look at question number 2. Hannah baked 38 butter cookies. She baked 14 fewer chocolate cookies than butter cookies. How many cookies did Hannah bake altogether? Now I'm going to leave those bar models showing to help you solve this with an adult. Okay, so we know that Hannah baked 38 butter cookies altogether. She then baked 14 fewer chocolate cookies than butter cookies. We want to find out ultimately how many cookies she baked altogether. Now we can't just find out how many she baked altogether because we don't know how many chocolate cookies she actually made. All we know is that she made 14 fewer chocolate cookies than butter cookies. So if we have a look at our diagram, our bar model, the top bar shows us how many butter cookies she made. I'm going to put a B there for butter. And we know that altogether she made 38. Okay. We also know that she baked 14 fewer chocolate cookies than butter cookies. So this red bar shows the 14 fewer chocolate cookies than butter cookies. Okay, so the blue bar model is for the chocolate cookies. So the calculation we need to do to find out how many chocolate cookies she made is the 38 she had altogether of butter cookies, subtract the 14 fewer chocolate cookies than butter cookies. So we're going to do 38 take away 14, which leaves us with 24. Hannah baked 24 chocolate cookies. And again, you probably did some column subtraction to solve that problem. 38 take away 14, nice and easy. 8 take away 4 is 4. 30 take away 10 is 20. So we know there are 24 chocolate cookies. We can then find the answer to the original question. How many cookies did Hannah bake altogether? Well, we know she baked 38 butter cookies, and we now know she made 24 chocolate cookies. And again, if you used column addition, we should have had 38 plus 24. 8 plus 4, well, 8 plus 2 is 10, with 2 left over to give us 12. We put the 2, carry the 1, 30, sorry, carry the 10. 30 add 20 is 50, plus another 10 is 60. We can see that altogether she baked 62 cookies. So well done if you got those answers. Now, you're going to do an activity. Now, it does say work in groups of 4, but you might be able to adjust this to work with just an adult or a big brother or sister. You need a pen and some paper. First of all, make 2 word problems on addition and subtraction. So you need to make up your own stories to go with the calculation. Show your word problem to your partner, and then get your partner to solve each problem, asking them how they did it. So ask them, how did they calculate the subtraction? How did they calculate the addition? And then check to see if they've solved your problems correctly. Swap over and get your adult or your big brother or sister to write you an addition word problem and a subtraction word problem to practice these skills. Okay, some guided practice questions for you. 35 children visited the library on Monday. 12 fewer children visited the library on Tuesday than on Monday. How many children visited the library on the 2 days together? Pause the video and see if first of all you can work out what is the first step, what's the first calculation you need to find out, and then what would be the second step. Okay, now the first part of this question is trying to find out how many children visited the library on Tuesday compared to Monday. Now we know that 35 children visited on Monday, and we know that 12 fewer children visited the library on Tuesday. So we're going to subtract 12 from 35 to give us the total amount of children who visited on the Tuesday. Now 35 take away 12, you can do using column subtraction. Some of you might have used your no number bonds, but I'm going to model the column subtraction. 5 take away 2 is 3, 30 take away 10 is 20. So we now know 23 children visited the library on Tuesday. Now knowing that information will help us answer the question. How many children visited the library on the 2 days altogether? Well, we've been told that on Monday 35 children visited, and we've now worked out that on Tuesday 23 children visited. So we can calculate those together. Again, some of you might use your knowledge of numbers and number facts. Some of you might rely on column addition, which is fine. 5 add 3 is 8. 30 add 20 is 50. So we can say that 58 children visited the library on the 2 days altogether. And for the next guided practice question, there are 51 women in a sports club. There are 8 more women than men in the club. How many people are there in the club altogether? Pause the video and work out the first and the second step to this problem and see if you can solve it. Okay, so just like the last question, we have to find out how many men there are in the club before we can work out how many there are in the club altogether. So we know there are 51 women in a sports club, and we know there are 8 more women than men. So we're going to subtract the 8 more women than men to give us the total number of men. Now 51 take away 8. You can either do with column subtraction if you wish, or you should be using your knowledge of numbers here, and you should know that the answer is 43. And I knew the answer was 43 because I imagined getting rid of this 1 by turning the 8 into a 7. Okay, so that's already eliminated the 1. And then I only have to subtract 7 from 50. And I know my number bonds that 3 add 7 equals the next 10. So therefore the 10 would have to go down to the 40 and the 1 would become a 3, meaning there are 43 men. Now knowing that, we can answer the question. How many people are there in the club altogether? Well, we know there are 51 women and we now know there are 43 men. So we're going to add them together. 51, 43. Again, you should know that answer just by using your knowledge of number facts and place value. But for those of you still relying on column subtraction, this is how we would do it. 1 add 3 is 4. 50 add 40 is 90. So we put the 9 to represent the 90. The answer is 94. There are 94 people in the club altogether. Now for your independent learning. Again, these are available on the school website should you wish to print them, and each question does get harder. The first question you're given the calculation you need to complete. Question 4 you're given very little information. So here's question 1. Question 2. Question 3. And question 4. Please feel free to draw pictures, use equipment to help you. That's it, Year 2 for this week. We've got 2 more sessions for this chapter next week, which I will record and upload ready for the week after. But well done, challenging week this week, especially when your brains are getting tired because it's nearly the summer holidays. But I hope you've had a lovely day at school again this week, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a good weekend.